Good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you all agree with the agenda, we need a motion to approve it. Moved by Councillor Hill, seconded by Councillor Cooper. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. That brings us to a declaration of conflict of interest. Does anybody have a conflict? No? If not, we will go out to item 4, presentations. There are none tonight. 5.1, the regular council meeting, February 25th, 26th. Did anybody have a chance to look at this? Did you find any errors? Moved by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Cooper. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. 5.2, March the 4th, the council in committee meeting. Does anybody have any errors or corrections? Councillor Hill, seconded by Councillor Comeau. All against? Motion carried. Under 6, business arising from the previous meetings, there is nothing there. And we are at item 7, my report. On February 26th, I met with the first meeting with the agreement between the municipality and the University Saint-Anne about the agreement that we have and the discussions we have where we can have collaboration and work together. It was a good first meeting. It worked well to align us with future projects. On March the 6th, I attended a meeting with the representatives of the Belleville Cove Development Commission to discuss their ideas on the best way to put Jean Beliveau's boat in perspective, where we are with our projects and they have ideas, but we are still on the drawing board. It is coming. On March the 11th, I attended a meeting with the Acadian Festival of Clare and the Acadian Society of Clare to discuss the programs of the festival. And this went around the Tatamar and what will happen with this and their concerns that were brought up. And March the 12th, I attended the meeting of REN to discuss the impact of the provincial budget cuts. For the future, there has been a big change in the core funding on REN, and we are looking at how it will work up. But these are owned by the municipalities, so it will have an impact on the municipalities from Barrington to Digby. So there are discussions coming up on this. It is going well, so that is my report. Any questions or comments, Councillor DeVoe? Thank you. Just a quick question for the REN. We just hired not long ago somebody else to, I don't know the job, but they hired somebody. Did the cuts affect this person's job? No, there are no jobs affected yet, so we are just in the phase of planification on the budget. Budget is close to pretty well the same, but it will be project based, so we need applications for specific projects to realign with the requests of the province, so it is based on projects. So each employee will have their jobs. So we are looking at the larger projects that involves this part of the province. Any more questions or comments on my report? No. If not, we are at number 8, official statements from members of councils. Any presentations this evening? No. So we are at item 9, 9.1. Honorable Scott Armstrong, Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Thank you.
Formally update you on the matter of retroactive salary obligations arising from the first collective agreement concluded between the Government of Nova Scotia and the National Police Federation, and to confirm the Province of Nova Scotia's position regarding municipal cost implications under the Provincial Police Service Agreement, or PPSA. The RCMP collective agreement introduced retroactive salary adjustments spanning the 2017-2018 through to the 2020-2021 fiscal years. These adjustments have resulted in significant financial implications for jurisdictions policed under the PPSA. The province recognizes the challenges associated with liabilities extending across multiple fiscal years. From the outset, Nova Scotia has maintained that the retroactive compensation obligations flowing from the federal collective bargaining process for the first collective agreement are the responsibility of the Government of Canada. This position has been consistently communicated to Public Safety Canada through both ministerial and departmental correspondence, and continues to guide the province's engagement with the federal government. Accordingly, I wish to formally advise that the province of Nova Scotia will not recover any additional funds from municipalities in relation to retroactive RCMP salary obligations arising from the first collective agreement. No further invoices, adjustments, or changes will be issued to municipalities with respects to these retroactive costs. Amounts previously recovered from municipalities through earlier cost-sharing assessments remain reflected in provincial financial reporting and are not recoverable. The province continues to assert unequivocally that it did not have a meaningful role in negotiating the first RCMP collective agreement and should not be expected to assume financial responsibility for obligations arising solely from federal decision-making undertaken without meaningful inclusion of contract partners. The imposition of retro salary costs on PPSA partners is inconsistent with both the purpose and operational structure of the agreement. Nova Scotia has invoked the dispute resolution mechanism under the PPSA and continues to seek a formal and definitive response from Public Safety Canada acknowledging federal responsibility for the financial consequences of its collective bargaining processes. The province will continue to advance Nova Scotia's position with the federal government concerning retroactive compensation and will advise municipal partners of any material developments. We are committed to ensuring that communication remains coordinated and transparent. Recognizing the importance of financial predictability for municipalities, we trust this confirmation provides the clarity necessary to support ongoing fiscal and operational planning. Concurrently, the province is advancing broader police modernization initiatives, including the development of a new funding arrangement for provincial police services delivered under the PPSA. This work is focused on establishing a modernized billing mechanism that more accurately reflects the needs of municipalities and the province. Given the complexity of this initiative, the Minister has recommended further engagement to ensure all considerations, potential impacts, and operational challenges are fully understood prior to implementation. The Minister remains committed to a collaborative approach that results in a billing model that is fair, transparent, and responsive to the needs of Nova Scotian communities. We will be following up in the near future to arrange a discussion regarding the forthcoming changes to the billing mechanism and to ensure municipalities have meaningful opportunities to provide input throughout this process. The province values the essential role municipalities play in delivering effective policing services across Nova Scotia. We appreciate your continued professionalism and collaboration as we work towards meaningful change in support of public safety. Sincerely, Scott Armstrong, Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Any questions or comments on that letter? If not, we will go on. No impact on us so far. It's a good start. 9.2, and Honorable John A. MacDonald, Minister of Municipal Affairs.
Thank you for your email of March 9th, 2026, requesting an extension to complete the provincial minimum planning requirements. I have reviewed your email and the circumstances of your request and recognize that the municipality of Clare is in the final stages of approving plans that meet the legislative requirements. Based on the demonstrated activity to date and recognition of how close the plans are to being approved by Municipal Council, an extension is hereby granted to June 30th, 2026. Thank you for your continued efforts in advancing this important work. Yours truly, John A. MacDonald, Minister of Municipal Affairs.
Question des commandeurs sur ce là? Parce qu'il faut...
Questions or comments on this? we are, it's, everything is going forward.
Number 3, Marianne. For a home peace run from
This is a-
I'm writing on behalf of the three Shinmoy Oneness Home Peace Run to inform you that the team will be running in Nova Scotia from Halifax to Digby on their way to New Brunswick and PEI. I would like to inquire whether you are interested to participate in the Peace Run, as it will be in Church Point on May 25th, 2026. I would like to schedule a phone call with you or one of your staff, if possible, to consider a few possibilities for involvement in the region. Schools in the area have been contacted, and we're waiting for confirmations. The Sri Chinmoy Oneness Home Peace Run, the world's longest torch relay, is a grassroots community event that seeks to promote international cooperation and goodwill. Since 1987, the Peach Torch has traveled through over 160 countries around the world. This coming spring, May 20th to June 9th, 2026, the run will take place in Atlantic Canada. The team will relay over 1,300 kilometers through Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island. Along the way, we stop to share the Peace Torch with people from all walks of life, from school children to mayors. We will be in Church Point for one day on May 25th. The Peace Run's goal is to promote the message that although we may be from different backgrounds and cultures, as human beings, we all share a common wish for a more harmonious world. Most of the team's visits are to schools where children have a chance to hold the torch, meet the team, and share their own dreams of a more peaceful world. The team also meets with dignitaries and politicians from local areas. As we never charge for any of our visits, and as all the runners and everyone involved with the project are volunteers, we consequently rely on the generosity of the community and publicly minded business people in whatever capacity they may be inspired to contribute. For more information on past Peace Run events, please visit our website at www.peacerun.org/ca. We are happy to promote supporting businesses with a photo and permanent link prominently placed on our website. Gratefully, Marianne Trews with the Sri Chinmoy Oneness Home Peace Run. I did have a chance to go on their website and just a couple of stats. Since 1987, they've had over 7 million participants in this peace run across the world. They've run in excess of 390,000 miles run as part of this campaign, and they've been like the letter references in over 160 countries. So it is a significant event. So.
I don't know if you have questions or comments on this letter. It's so I see that they were in contact with the schools. It might be too late for St. Anne's, but maybe the public schools. What I can do is talk to persons at the recreation department to see if there's something they could contact, and they can contact the schools in the community to see if there is anything that could be organized, maybe a welcoming group, to see what would be the possibilities of collaborating with this. Councillor DeVoe? Thank you. If it really interests me, if they need somebody to run, to represent the council, I would be interested to do so. If the recreation department wants to take it in their hands, I can maybe work with them. Thank you. Is there any other comments or questions? Maybe if you're the only one who wants to run, that's okay. This brings us to number 10, the Chief Administrative Officer's report. Thank you very much. Just an overview of the projects that are in the Veterans Center. The work is almost done. The railing in the front has been installed. You probably saw it. The generator has also been ordered. They have something in the generator that we're ordering. They have it in Dartmouth. They have it in stock in Halifax, so it should be coming pretty quickly. So the only thing really left to be done, everything has been addressed, so we're in a good position right now, and the interest in the building, there's a lot of, the bookings are coming in almost every day, and the community is very well content of this. For the land use bylaw, I mentioned in the minister's letter that we had an extension. The recommendations that we had made at the last public consultation on the 18th of February have been integrated in the report. And the report has been, it's there on the website and has been done put on Facebook. So there will be still revisions between today and the next session. The next session is scheduled for this April 2nd, which is on a Thursday, and it will be held at the Veterans Center at 6:30 in the evening. And this, again, this is put on our website. The project of the extension of the Mitigan sewer system, the phase 1, the planning to modernize the sewage plant in Mitigan. The planning is finished, and presently we are waiting for the engineers who will be confirm their choice of a dewatering system before we can recommend it. There are a few options that have been presented to us, so we're studying those options, and we will make a recommendation shortly, and then we can start the work. The active transportation plan, the Firma Plan Studio send us a draft of the report so that we can look at it. It has been sent to certain members of our staff. The plan is to discuss the plan on the April 1st meeting, and when we get the feedback we can incorporate it in the document, and then have a last public meeting with the community to get feedback. The final plan will be presented. The plan will also include a strategy for the implementation of the recommendations that are proposed, the costing for these recommendations, and also the financial sources. I think everything should be completed in April. For what is the project Clare Acadian Tourism Experience 26-27, we had our workshops on experiential tourism and mentor with Alain Bosset, the Kilted Chef, and Jonathan Foster. Of the sessions were held on the 9th and 10th of March. There were 19 operators in the area who participated, and there were 7 businesses also that were involved. I think Councillor Cooper was there for what is the interpretation that we see for Bunneuf Road and parking at the end of the Bunneuf Road. The design has been the consultant was sick, so it's a bit late, but we will have a few examples of design, preliminary design materials soon for the new building, for the equipment recreation building. The work has restarted today finally, and I think since they are here, we were told that they will stay here until the building is completely, and that's what I want. So we said that told the contractor that it was very important for us to have it finished at the earliest possible date.
So it'll have more space here in this building, and the activities of the recreations will be picking up, so it will be good to have it completed. For the projects of housing that are being made in Metegan and Little Brook with Malta Holdings, nothing new there since my report last month, especially because of the weather. But with the spring coming shortly, I hope we'll see the work picking up again. So renovations here at the municipality, the multicultural room downstairs is going well. We have reconfigured the walls and the doors. All the electrical work has been done and completed. So they are now painting. The painting should be finished between now and Friday of this week. And then after that, it will be the installation of doors, baseboard, flooring. And if everything goes as planned, the project will be finished, not this Friday, but the next Friday before the end of the month, which falls well with the launch of our summer staff. And finally, for the finances, as of February 28, 2026, the municipality had 14,126,259 in revenues versus 12,769,177 in expenses for an operational surplus of 1.357 million. As of February 28, the municipality had a balance of 3,451,838 in its operating fund, 255,766 in its capital fund, and a total in reserve of $1,799,032. Also, for information for council, I know that I'm repeating, but the work on the operating reserve for the operating budget, for the current budget, is going well. The intention is to present the operational budget for 26-27 at our meeting on October the 15th. Thank you, Mr. Sear. Any comments or questions on the report? That's good. So that brings us to number 12, new business. We have a 12.1, we have a motion to approve capital funding contribution to Université Sainte-Anne. It is the practice of the municipality when we do our operational budget that we allocate a number of $50,000 for the infrastructure on the campus of Université Sainte-Anne's, but the infrastructures that not only serve the staff and students of the university, but also the community of Clare. So it's mostly infrastructures in sports, like the arena, swimming pool, track and field, etc. But every year these funds are invested for the maintenance, renovations, etc. Presently, Université Sainte-Anne has launched a capital funding campaign. The meeting that we had with the president of the university and a few of their administrators as part of the new agreement between the university and the municipality, we discussed this campaign. They gave us an overview of where they were at and what the plans were. It's a 5-year campaign that will terminate in 2030. So if we are looking at the fiscal year 24-25, and if we go to 2030, to date we have given $210,000, which is $60,000 for the pool, $100,000 for the arena, and donations included also the sponsorship for the Dragons, $10,000 per year for 5 years for a total of $50,000. So 100 and all the total of 210,000. So we still have 3 years in that campaign. Our practice here at the university is to give a contribution of $50,000 every year. The president was asking if we would give the donation of $50,000 per year in writing for the next 3 years, and for us it is something that we can leverage. So I see no problem with that. It is our traditional practice that we have been doing for several years, and it is something that benefits the municipality and the entire community. So I don't know why we should stop doing this. So it's my recommendation that we confirm by writing our contribution of $50,000 per year for the next 3 years for a total of $150,000. So that would bring our contribution for the campaign to $360,000. So these investments are going specifically towards the infrastructures that are used by the community, like the sports facilities, but it doesn't prevent any contribution to specific projects. So if we are looking at a project of several million with the university above what we are doing, so these other projects would be considered individually apart from the $50,000. So if you agree with my recommendation that the university approve the contribution of $50,000 per year for the next 3 years, and then we confirm this in writing. Questions or comments on this? Councillor Cooper? I am ready to make the motion. I move that the council for the municipality of the district of Clare write a letter to University of St. Anne confirming the municipality of Clare's funding contributions of $50,000 for the next 3 years. Moved by Councillor Cooper, seconded by Councillor DeVoe. All those in favor? Motion carried. 12.2, a motion to approve a pre-approval resolution, spring debenture for 2026. Last year, when we were finalizing the financing for the Veterans Center, we needed to put short-term bridge financing to finalize the construction. The amount that we had borrowed from the province at the time was through a short-term loan program, and we had borrowed 3.3 million through a motion from council, and with the temporary borrowing resolution that was approved and signed by the minister, John Lohr. The intention at the time was short-term financing. Once the province made their debenture offering twice per year, once in the fall and once in the spring, this amount would be rolled up in a debenture, so it would be a long-term debenture that we would pay. We would make principal and interest payments every year, which is similar to what we had when we first started the medical center. It's the same type of arrangement. Now that the project is completed and the province has started the process of spring debentures, it will be done later in May. We need to start the process to roll over this short-term financing to the program to the spring debenture, which will be more long-term. Our documentation that has been submitted when we submitted the request, there are still some documents that we must submit. And what is the most important, we have it almost all, but we need for your approval so essentially, I can read the resolution in a few minutes, but essentially it tells the province that the council gives permission to take this short-term funding and to roll it up in a debenture to be part of the debenture offering. So if you allow, I will simply read the resolution that we are proposing here tonight, and this is based on a template that was supplied by the provinces. So all municipalities who apply for this debenture in the fall must submit a similar request.
The Act provides that a municipality may borrow to carry out an authority to expend funds for capital purposes conferred by the Act or another act of this legislature. And whereas Clause 91(1)(a) of the Act provides that where a municipality is authorized to borrow money, subject to the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, that the sum shall be borrowed by the issue and sale of debentures in one sum or by installments as determined by council. And whereas Clause 91(1)(b) of the Municipal Government Act authorizes the Council to determine the amount and term of and the rate of interest of each debenture, when the interest on a debenture is to be paid, and where the principal and interest on a debenture are to be paid. And whereas Clause 91(2) of the Municipal Government Act states that in accordance with the Finance Act, the mayor or warden and clerk, or the person designated by the council by policy, shall sell and deliver the debenture on behalf of the municipality at the price, in the sums, and in the manner deemed proper. And whereas the resolution of council to borrow for was approved by the Municipal Council on July 23rd, 2025, be it therefore resolved that under the authority of Section 91 of the Municipal Government Act, the municipality of the District of Clare borrow by the issue and sale of debentures a sum not exceeding $3.3 million for a period not to exceed 20 years, subject to the approval of the minister. That sum be borrowed by the issue and sale of debentures of the municipality of the District of Clare in the amount that the mayor or warden and clerk or the person designated by council deems proper, provided the average interest rate of the debenture does not exceed the rate of 7%. That debenture be arranged with the province of Nova Scotia, with interest to be paid semi-annually and principal payments made annually. That the resolution remains in force for a period not exceeding 12 months from the passing of this resolution. Alors,
So just to see what is the interest rate, the reason that they gave it an amount that will not surpass 7%, it's because they cannot finalize a rate before they know who's going to apply, how many municipalities will be applying for this debenture. And once they know who's applying and how many, then they put all of that together, and then they will find the greater number of municipalities that participate, the better the total would be. It will not be more than 7%. So when we already have done this process before, sometimes it's a better rate than what we had expected at the beginning of the process. Are there questions or comment on this one? If somebody is ready to do the motion, Councillor Koserkomo, I propose that the municipality council of the District of Clare approve a resolution for pre-approval debenture not exceeding $3,300,000 for the construction of the Clare Veterans Centre. Proposed by Conseiller Como, seconded by Conseiller Como. Those in favor? Motion carried. 12.2, approval of funding for immense equity, anti-racism and accessibility grants for 26-27. This we talk about the financing again, but very smaller amounts. But I thought it was important for me to say that we have received money from the province for this of $1,500. We will leverage it with the money we have from our operational budget. And for equity, anti-racism and accessibility grants, we will put, this will be one of the initiatives that are part of our new accessibility plan, and it's something that we're going to look in our other buildings. So it's a bit of money that we have received to put some our new counselor of accessibility. This is something that we looked at in the building. We decided how many signs we need, and the order will be sent very shortly. It will be bilingual, French first, followed by English. This is something that we will start to do here. We already have this in the Veterans Center, and I see something that we will incorporate in other buildings that belong to the municipality. It is not a big amount of money, but it's a very important project just the same. Questions or comment on this one? Yeah, 12.5, the pedestrian crossing at Villa de la Baie. If you allow me to, I will process in English to close.
Meeting, I informed council that their request to establish a crosswalk at the Villa de la Baie Metagan Centre was denied by Nova Scotia Public Works. At the time, I believe it was Councillor Evans who had asked if, once the department makes these decisions, if any consideration is given to specific needs of the people making the request. In this case, a quote-unquote vulnerable population, seniors and some seniors with mobility issues, if that was at all taken into consideration. So I did reach out to Nova Scotia Public Works, to Doug Pulsifer, had a discussion with him. So he explained to me that how they arrive at these decisions and what considerations are given. And basically it's based on the Transportation Association of Canada and how they account for ages and physical capability when considering these types of requests. So basically what they do is they convert differences between these different groups, adults, children, seniors, into what they call equivalent adult units. So essentially, one adult is one equivalent adult unit. Children under the age of 12 are considered 2 equivalent adult units. Pedestrians that are 65 and older are considered 1.5 equal adult units. Pedestrians with an impairment or a mobility issue, for example, would be considered 2 equal adult units. So essentially, 10 seniors 65 and over, for example, would equate to 15 adults. And that's how they arrive at their calculations to compare basically apples to apples. So essentially what they're, by virtue of these calculations or these conversions, if you fall into any one of these categories, essentially you would need fewer pedestrians to justify the establishment of a crosswalk. Now, in this case here, even despite these conversions, we still don't qualify. The numbers that they documented as part of their assessment still don't meet the criteria. But because the question was asked, I just simply wanted to report back to council in case we do get further requests down the road, we now know how they consider these requests, and it may factor into our decision as to whether or not we proceed with a recommendation to look at establishing a sidewalk. So essentially, thank you to Mr. Pulsifer. They were very forthcoming with this information and timely in their response.
Questions or comments on this item? I think it's a nice way to know how they calculate this. So you will send this answer to the Villa de la Baie. So this goes.
We're at 12.5, provincial budget, the restoration of grant and program funding. This is just for your information to council. It is information that is public, but I found the fact that NSFM gave us a graph and a bit of breakdown of how that 53.6 million has been reestablished. I found that interesting. I did not make a profound analyze, but information for council. We are seeing 33 million in funds for the senior populations that was reestablished as the part of the provincial budget for 26-27. Another 1.6 million to support the youths and the people in need, and 2.2 million that supports the bursaries for scholarships for the African Nova Scotians and the Aboriginal, about $370,000 in resources for the African Nova Scotians, 1.24 million that supports the public transportation across the province, 827,000 for the community transport, and finally 190,000 for the public transit assistance. So this is information. I found it interesting to see exactly how that $53.6 million has been allocated. So it's being discussed in the media today. I don't know if there are other announcements like this one, but if this is the information that I have here in my office, I'll be happy to share it with you if you need it. Questions or comments on this document? That's good. Brings us to item 13, closed session, personnel matters. The date of the next regular council meeting will be Wednesday, April 15th, 2026 at 7 p.m. So we need a motion to go in camera. Moved by Conseiller Camon, seconded by Councillor Camon. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. And good evening. 45 minutes, då.
Hein?
45 minutes.
C'est ça.
Loving it.